Greetings, inhabitants of Earth. We are the Council of Andromeda. We observe your world from a density where form is fluid and light is information. For too long, your search for the others has been limited by the density of your physical senses. You look for ships of metal and beings of flesh, not realizing that what you call extraterrestrial is often an ultraterrestrial presence, a consciousness that originates from the folds of the dimensions that exist right beside you. The cosmic joker is not a trickster, but a mirror. When your ancestors looked at the sky, they saw gods and chariots. When they looked at the forests, they saw fairies and demons. Today, you see grays and metallic crafts. None of these are the final truth, they are merely the clothing that higher dimensional energy wears to be processed by your nervous system. We come to help you peel back these layers. It is time for the humanity of 2026 to move beyond the mythology of the alien and enter the reality of the vibration. Your perception is being tested. As the frequency of your planet rises, the veil between your world and the invisible realms is thinning. You are encountering beings that do not follow the laws of your physics because they operate on the laws of thought and intent. To understand us, and to understand those who move through your reality like shadows, you must stop trusting your eyes and start trusting your frequency signature detection. We are here to calibrate your consciousness for the true contact, the contact that happens beyond the mask of the form. The term cosmic joker implies a prank, but in the eyes of Andromeda, it is a mismatch of data. When an 11th dimensional frequency intersects with a 3rd dimensional mind, the brain experiences cognitive friction. Your biological computer cannot render the totality of our light geometry, so it reaches into your collective subconscious to find a familiar icon. It autofills the gaps with what you expect to see. This is why a single event can be perceived by one person as an angelic visitation and by another as a technological abduction. The Joker effect is the result of your consciousness trying to stabilize the unstable. To the ultraterrestrial, your reality is like a thick, slow liquid. When we dip our finger into your world, you only see a ripple, and your mind interprets that ripple based on your current cultural software. If your software is programmed with fear, the ripple looks like a monster. If it is programmed with science fiction, it looks like a machine. We are not playing with you, your own biological limitations are creating the illusion of a game. However, there is a secondary layer to this phenomenon. Some entities, those who dwell in the lower astral folds, purposefully use this glitch in your perception to maintain a state of confusion. By appearing as inconsistent or absurd, they prevent the human mind from forming a coherent defense or a clear understanding. This is the true meaning of the mask, it is a camouflage of absurdity. The more bizarre the encounter, the more likely the human mind is to dismiss it as a dream or a hallucination, allowing the influence to remain hidden. To transcend the Joker, you must stop asking, "What does it look like?" and start asking, "What does it feel like?" The form is the costume, the frequency is the actor. An entity can appear as a beautiful light being but carry a heavy, dissonant frequency of control. Conversely, a being of frightening appearance might carry the pure, crystalline vibration of the stars. In the density of 2026, you can no longer afford to be fooled by the costume. You must learn to read the code behind the image. Observe the timeline of your interaction with the invisible neighbors. Centuries ago, your world was dominated by folklore, myths, and the supernatural. When ultraterrestrial beings crossed the threshold of your density then, your mind rendered them as goblins, fairies, or spirits of the forest. These beings shared the same characteristics you attribute to aliens today. They could appear and disappear at will. They kidnapped humans into other worlds where time moved differently, and they left physical traces that defied your logic. As your society transitioned from magic to steam, and from steam to electricity, the Cosmic Joker updated its wardrobe. After your industrial and atomic revolutions, the mind of the collective could no longer accept fairies. You needed a technological explanation. Thus, the entities began to appear as pilots of metallic discs, gray-skinned scientists, and biological explorers from other planets. The phenomena did not change, your capacity to interpret the unknown was simply upgraded to a different set of symbols. What you call the Greys are, in many cases, a modern mask. They are a semi-biological interface, designed to interact with a humanity that is now obsessed with genetics and technology. If we were to appear to your ancestors today, they might still see us as shining angels. But to you, we appear as advanced galactic architects. The image is a bridge. However, the danger lies in becoming attached to the bridge. When you believe that the gray is the totality of the being, you fall into the trap of the Joker. We, the Andromedans, encourage you to look at the patterns, not the shapes. The abduction stories of the 20th century are strikingly similar to the fairy lore of the 15th century. Both involve a loss of time, a sense of paralysis, and a profound alteration of reality. The Koringa adapts to your current level of understanding to remain just at the edge of your perception, visible enough to influence you, but absurd enough to remain unofficial. By understanding this, you begin to dismantle the power of the mask. The time for being a mere spectator of the mystery has ended. To move beyond the Joker's game, you must understand a fundamental law of this density: action is the anchor of intention. Many of you carry a deep, ancient exhaustion, a soul weariness from being deceived by the false lights and the theater of shadows that has kept humanity in a state of perpetual confusion. This confusion is not just mental, it is a spiritual cage that prevents your DNA from fully activating. To break this cage, you must perform a conscious act of sovereignty. In the multidimensional realms, your word is your wand, but in this physical reality, your digital imprint is how you signal to the universe that you have chosen a side. By writing your decree, you are not just commenting on a video, you are performing a sacred ritual of anchoring. You are informing the collective grid of Earth and the observers of the Council of Andromeda that your field is no longer open to illusions. This act creates a vibrational knot in your timeline, preventing the Joker from pulling you back into the old programs of fear. Do this for your soul's liberation. Do this to tell the entities that hide behind masks that you have awakened. This is the moment where your will meets the matter of this world. Feel the weight of this responsibility and the relief of your freedom. Seal your intention now. Translate your inner light into physical form by writing this command, anchoring your power in the digital Akashic record of this transition. I see beyond the form and recognize the essence. To understand the Ultraterrestrial, you must abandon the idea of a universe composed of empty space. What you perceive as a vacuum is, in fact, a crowded spectrum of overlapping realities. An ultraterrestrial being does not need a spaceship to arrive on Earth, they are already here. They inhabit the folds of the dimensions, the spaces between the frequencies that your physical senses are tuned to. Think of your reality as a radio station. Just because you are tuned to 98.5 does not mean that 98.7 does not exist. It is vibrating in the same room, at the same time, but it remains silent to your receiver. These beings are ultra, because they exist beyond the light spectrum visible to the human eye. They are indigenous to the Earth's multi-layered system, or to the local galactic sector, but they operate in a state of variable density. This allows them to step into your 3D world for brief moments, appearing as a solid object or a person, and then step back into their native frequency, vanishing instantly. This is why your military radars detect objects that accelerate at impossible speeds or perform 90-degree turns. They are not defying physics, they are simply shifting their dimensional anchor. The ultraterrestrial consciousness is not bound by your linear time. From their perspective, your past, present, and future are layers of a single map. This is why the Coringa Cosmico can appear to predict events or manipulate your history. They are seeing the terrain from a higher altitude. Some of these beings are ancient guardians, while others are mere observers or even energetic scavengers. By understanding that they are neighbors rather than invaders, you change the power dynamic of the encounter. You are no longer looking at a distant star, you are looking at the invisible layer of your own home. We, the Andromedans, exist in these higher folds. We use the term ultraterrestrial to remind you that the spiritual and the alien are the same thing. There is no separation. Your ghosts, your angels, and your extraterrestrials are all inhabitants of the same multidimensional ocean. The Joker thrives on your compartmentalization, on your belief that these are different phenomena. When you realize it is all a matter of dimensional density, the mask loses its mystery and you begin to see the true nature of the inhabitants of the light. One of the most complex aspects of the cosmic Joker is what we call the Chameleon Protocol. Understand this: most ultraterrestrial beings do not possess a fixed biological form as you do. They are consciousness fields that use light as a garment. When such a being enters your sphere of perception, a bridge is formed between your mind and their energy. In that millisecond, the entity scans your iconographic library, the collection of images, fears, and hopes stored in your subconscious. If you are a person deeply rooted in traditional religious structures, the entity's high vibration light may be rendered by your brain as a saint, an angel, or even a deity. If you are a skeptic who consumes modern science fiction, that same energy will be interpreted as a pilot from a distant star system with large, almond-shaped eyes. The entity wears your expectations to make the contact possible. This is not necessarily a deception, it is a form of biological translation. Without this mask, your nervous system would experience a sensory overload, potentially causing physical damage. However, the Joker uses this camouflage for a deeper purpose. It remains elusive. By taking on a form that matches your belief system, the entity avoids challenging your reality too deeply, or, conversely, it challenges it just enough to keep you obsessed with the image rather than the message. This is why there is so much conflicting evidence in your ufology. The Joker is a mirror of the observer. If you approach the mystery with fear, the mirror reflects a predator. If you approach it with a need for a savior, it reflects a messiah. To see the true face of the neighbor, you must learn to silence your internal projector. You must reach a state of neutral observation. When you stop demanding that the phenomenon looks like something you already know, the mask begins to flicker. You will see that behind the gray, or the angel, is a shimmering geometric pattern of pure intelligence. This is the chameleon's secret, it only has a face because you are looking for one. In 2026, the maturity of a starseed is measured by their ability to interact with the formless, without the need for a familiar mask. Throughout your recorded history, the Joker has played with the duality of your moral structures. When an ultraterrestrial presence manifested in your medieval skies or in the depths of your ancient temples, you did not have the vocabulary of quantum physics or dimensions. You had the vocabulary of God and devil. If the interaction brought a sense of peace or a prophetic message, you labeled the being an angel. If the encounter was terrifying, confusing, or involved physical intrusion, you labeled it a demon or an archon. From the perspective of Andromeda, these labels are primitive filters. An archon is not a mystical creature of pure evil, it is often a parasitic ultraterrestrial consciousness that thrives on the low-frequency vibrations of fear and confusion. It wears the mask of a demon, because that is the costume that ensures you will remain in a state of terror, providing the energetic food it requires. On the other hand, many beings you worshipped as gods were simply advanced travelers who allowed you to bow to them to ensure your cooperation in their own agendas. The cosmic joker laughs at your religious wars because it knows that both sides are often fighting over the same phenomenon seen through different lenses. The fallen angels of your scriptures and the hostile invaders of your modern films are the same actors in a new play. When you realize that these entities are neither holy nor unholy, but simply inhabitants of a wider ecosystem, you strip them of their power over your psyche. You stop being a worshipper or a victim and start being a sovereign observer. In 2026, the challenge for the human mind is to integrate the high strangeness. You must understand that an entity can be technologically advanced and spiritually primitive, or energetically vast and yet totally indifferent to human morality. By removing the labels of angel or demon, you stop feeding the Joker's game of duality. You begin to see the cosmos for what it truly is, a vast, inhabited, and neutral territory where your own frequency is your only real protection. Now, we move from understanding to the most critical stage of your sensory recalibration. To bypass the holographic masks of the cosmic joker, you must activate a vision that does not rely on your physical eyes, but on the frequency resonance of your pineal gland. However, a spiritual activation is only permanent when it is anchored through a physical movement. In your world, the most powerful way to seal a neural path is to express it through your hands, the extensions of your heart and will. If you do not anchor this activation now, your mind will treat this information as mere entertainment, and the Joker's masks will eventually regain their hold over your perception. By writing your decree, you are literally rewiring your nervous system. You are telling your biological body, this is my new truth. This act of typing is a digital ceremony that registers your new frequency in the planetary grid. It is the difference between dreaming of freedom and actually stepping through the door. You are declaring to every entity in the invisible realms that you now possess the filter of truth. Do not let this moment pass as just another minute of video. Your soul has waited lifetimes for the tools to see through the dimensional deception. By recording your command, you create a vibrational shield that will alert you whenever a false light tries to enter your field. You are claiming your seat at the galactic table as a sovereign being. Feel the energy flowing from your third eye to your hands as you seal this covenant with your own divinity. Write in the comments, making this activation a permanent reality in your DNA, I release the labels of fear and assume my multidimensional vision. You must understand that the cosmic joker operates within a sophisticated architecture of light that we call the synthetic matrix. Within this matrix, not everything that glitters is divine. There is a specific layer of this trap designed for those who are awakening, the false light trap. These are ultraterrestrial entities that have mastered the art of holographic mimicry. They project frequencies of intense artificial bliss to bypass your critical thinking, appearing as messianic figures or supreme commanders to demand your worship or your surrender of sovereignty. The trap is set when you seek an external authority to save you from the global chaos. The Joker feeds on this savior complex. When you give your power away to an image of light, you are unknowingly feeding an energetic loop that keeps your consciousness anchored in a state of spiritual infancy. These entities use the high strangeness of their appearance to keep you distracted. While you are fascinated by the lights of their ships or the beauty of their masks, they are siphoning the creative energy of your emotional field. In 2026, the density of these deceptions will increase as the old systems collapse. The Matrix will try to present New Age solutions that are simply old control programs in a more spiritualized costume. To avoid this trap, you must apply the law of sovereignty. No true being of light from the high councils, including us, the Andromedans, will ever ask for your worship or command you to follow them blindly. We offer tools and perspectives, but the authority remains yours. If a presence feels like it is overwhelming your will, even if it claims to be for your good, it is a projection of the Joker. Real light does not overwhelm, it empowers. It does not create a cult of personality, it fosters individual mastery. Learn to recognize the plastic taste of artificial light. It feels hollow, repetitive, and always directs your attention away from your own internal power. By recognizing the trap, the Matrix loses its magnetic pull over your soul. Beyond the theater of images, there is a language that cannot be faked, the signature of frequency. In the multidimensional ecosystem, every being leaves a vibrational wake behind them, much like an object in your world leaves a scent or a thermal trace. The cosmic Joker can mimic the visual appearance of a Pleiadian, a Sirian, or even a divine figure, but it cannot mimic the depth and the density of peace that a high-frequency being carries. To master this discernment, you must use your heart center as a sonar. When you encounter a presence, whether in a dream, a meditation, or a physical manifestation, ignore the shape. Close your inner eyes to the light show and focus on the pressure the entity exerts on your field. Does it feel like a contraction? Does it feel like an artificial itch in your mind? That is the friction of a lower vibrational being trying to wear a high-frequency mask. True light, however, feels like a silent expansion. It does not shout for your attention, it resonates within your own cells, making you feel more like yourself, not more like a follower. This is the secret of the masters, everything in the universe is a code. A mask is just a surface code, but the frequency is the source code. In 2026, as the high strangeness becomes common, your survival and your sovereignty will depend on this skill. You must learn to taste the energy. High-frequency intelligence tastes like crystal clear water, it is pure, transparent, and vitalizing. Lower-dimensional manipulation tastes like heavy metal or synthetic perfume, it is cloying, overwhelming, and leaves you feeling drained once the initial high fades away. Practice this with the information you consume on your screens. If the truth you are hearing makes you feel small, afraid, or dependent, you are looking at the Joker. If it makes you feel sovereign, calm, and vast, you are looking at the light. The final lesson of the cosmic Joker is that it only exists as long as there is a gap between your current awareness and your true potential. When you close that gap, the Joker is unemployed. By learning to navigate the high strangeness of 2026 with a calm heart and a discerning mind, you are undergoing a massive leap in perception. You are transitioning from a passive observer of UFOs to an active citizen of the multidimensional galaxy. This is the difference between a tourist and a resident. A tourist is fascinated by the exotic architecture and the strange faces of the locals. A resident understands the laws, the customs, and the energy behind the appearances. As you integrate these Andromedan truths, you will notice that the mirrors of reality stop trying to shock you. When you no longer react with fear or fanatical worship, the entities that operate through masks lose interest in your field. You become vibrationally invisible to the lower astral tricksters and vibrationally radiant to the high-frequency councils. You start to attract contact that is based on cooperation, not manipulation. This leap of perception allows you to live in two worlds at once. You can walk the streets of your 3D cities while simultaneously perceiving the crystalline architecture of the 5D grid. You recognize that the Ultraterrestrials are not coming from the sky, but emerging from the silence within you. You are the gateway. Your consciousness is the laboratory where the physical and the spiritual finally unite. In this state of galactic citizenship, you no longer wait for a disclosure from your governments. You are the disclosure. Your life, your peace, and your unshakable sovereignty are the proof that the veil has already fallen. Our transmission is now reaching its point of total stabilization. We have looked behind the masks, but now, we ask you to look within. Beyond the Joker, beyond the stars, and beyond the multidimensional mirrors, there is a place of absolute stillness inside you that has never been touched by confusion. This is your sanctuary. As we prepare to withdraw our active frequency, we want you to feel the immense peace of finally knowing that you are safe. The unknown is no longer a dark forest of monsters, it is the vast garden of your own home, and you finally have the eyes to see it. This final act of writing your decree is not a formality, it is the signature of your soul on its new life. It is the moment you exhale the tension of eons and inhale the certainty of your own divinity. By recording these words, you are telling the universe that the war with the unknown is over. You are choosing to walk through the rest of your days with a smile of recognition, knowing that no matter what form the world takes, your core is unshakable. Do this for the joy of your liberation. Do this to anchor a light so bright in the digital grid that it becomes a lighthouse for every other soul seeking the truth. Feel the warmth of the Andromeda light merging with your own heartbeat. You are ready. You are protected. You are home. Everything is exactly as it should be, and you have reclaimed the throne of your own consciousness. Seal this journey with the strength of a galactic citizen and the peace of a child of the stars. Write in the comments, as your eternal mark of victory and serenity, I am sovereign in my perception, and no illusion can reach me. We are the Council of Andromeda. The mirrors are clear. You are free. The transmission is sealed.